From the moment I set foot in Pinewood Hills, I sensed the neighborhood was a paradox of perfection and pettiness. The streets were lined with flawless lawns, gleaming sidewalks, and a community pool so pristine it could have graced a luxury resort's brochure. Yet lurking beneath the surface was Margaret Hensley, or as the neighbors whispered with a smirk, the Queen. As president of the Pinewood Hills Homeowners Association, Margaret ruled with an iron grip, her decrees ranging from the precise shade of beige for mailboxes to the maximum height of grass before a violation notice landed in your mailbox. For 6 months, I'd flown under her radar, blending into the manicured backdrop of this suburban utopia. That all changed when I signed up to volunteer with the Special Needs Transportation Program at my job with the school district. Twice a week, I rode along on a small yellow bus that picked up 3 kids from our neighborhood for a specialized program at Roosevelt Elementary. The routine was clockwork. The bus rolled in at 7:15 a.m., made its stops, and was gone by 7:30. It was a lifeline for these families, seamless and vital. That is, until Margaret decided the bus was a blight on Pinewood Hill's pristine image, a threat to the sacred property values she guarded like a dragon hoarding gold. I'll never forget the morning it all went down. I was at the neighborhood entrance with Liam, a sharp 8-year-old with autism whose parents relied on the bus to get him to school while they rushed to early shifts. The familiar hum of the bus approached, right on schedule, when a silver SUV roared up and screeched to a halt, blocking the gate like a barricade. Out stepped Margaret, clad in her signature blazer, her oversized sunglasses perched on her nose despite the dawn's dim light. "Excuse me," she bellowed, her voice slicing through the morning calm with a tone that made my stomach churn. "Commercial vehicles are banned in Pinewood Hills between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m., per bylaw 6.2 of our HOA regulations." I stepped forward, forcing my voice to stay even. "Good morning, Margaret. This is a school bus for children with special needs. It's exempt from those rules." She tilted her head, her lips curling into a condescending smirk. "I don't recall any exemptions being approved at the last board meeting. Do you have the paperwork?" Behind me, Liam began to rock back and forth, his routine unraveling. The bus driver, Carl, a veteran of this route with the patience of a saint, leaned out his window. "Ma'am, I've got a schedule to keep. These kids need consistency." Margaret didn't blink. Instead, she whipped out her phone and started recording, her voice dripping with self-righteousness. "I'm documenting this violation for the HOA records. This bus will wait on the main road. The children can walk." My jaw tightened, but I held my ground. "Margaret, that's a quarter mile on a busy road with no sidewalk. It's unsafe and unreasonable. Liam needs to get to school, and 2 other kids are waiting." "Not my concern," she snapped, while viewing a manicured hand. "Rules are rules. Exceptions erode property values. And for the record, I'm live on the HOA's Facebook page, so everyone can see I'm upholding our standards." I glanced at her phone, the screen glowing with the live feed and a handful of comments already trickling in, most expressing confusion or disbelief. Liam was now covering his ears, his rocking intensifying, and I knew I had to act fast. "Margaret," I said, my voice steady but firm, "state law protects school transportation, especially for special needs students. HOA rules can't override that. If you keep blocking this bus, you're breaking the law." Her eyes narrowed behind those absurd sunglasses. "Are you threatening me? I wrote those bylaws. I know them better than anyone." Carl stepped off the bus, trying to diffuse the tension. "Ma'am, please, these kids can't be late. It throws everything off for them." Margaret doubled down, her voice rising for her audience. "Everyone watching needs to know what's at stake. This man, my neighbor, is trying to dismantle the regulations that keep Pinewood Hills elite. Next, it'll be delivery trucks, food carts, and chaos in our streets." The comments on her stream were multiplying, and to my surprise, most weren't on her side. One from a neighbor, Claire, read, "Margaret, those are the Thompsons and Lopez's kids. Let the bus through." Another asked, "Isn't blocking a school bus illegal?" Ignoring the growing dissent, Margaret rambled on about property values and the horrors of rule breaking. I'd had enough. Keeping my voice low, I dialed 911 and explained the situation to the dispatcher. Liam was now on the curb, hands clamped over his ears, his distress palpable. Minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up behind the bus. Officer Daniels, who lived just a few blocks away, stepped out, his brow furrowed. "What's going on here?" Before I could speak, Margaret thrust her phone toward him, her voice shrill. "I'm enforcing HOA regulations against commercial vehicles. This man is demanding I make an exception." Daniels glanced at the bus, its bright yellow paint and special needs transport label unmistakable, then back at Margaret. "Ma'am, are you blocking a school bus from its route?" "It's a commercial vehicle violating our bylaws," she insisted. Daniels cut her off, his tone sharpening. "Are you preventing this bus from picking up children?" Margaret straightened her blazer, undeterred. "I'm upholding our community standards, as is my duty as HOA president." Daniels' face hardened. "Ma'am, blocking a school bus violates state traffic laws and interferes with public education, especially for special needs kids. HOA bylaws don't trump state law. Move your vehicle. Now." Margaret's face flushed crimson, but her phone kept rolling. "This is outrageous. I'm being persecuted for protecting our community. Everyone watching, you're witnessing this abuse of power." Daniel's patience snapped. "Ma'am, this is your final warning. Move your vehicle, or I'll arrest you for obstruction." For a fleeting moment, I thought she might back down. Instead, she launched into a tirade about her rights, property values, and the neighborhood's decline, her live stream capturing every unhinged word. Daniels had heard enough. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for obstruction of an educational service vehicle and disorderly conduct. Turn around and place your hands behind your back." Margaret's eyes widened, her shock almost comical. "You can't be serious. I'm the HOA president." Daniels was unmoved. "And I'm a police officer enforcing the law." He took her phone, ended the stream, and pocketed it before cuffing her wrists and reading her rights as she sputtered about her authority. As Margaret was led to the cruiser, still ranting about property values, Carl reopened the bus door. "We're way behind. Let's move." I helped Liam board, his routine in tatters but holding up better than I'd feared. As we pulled away, I caught a glimpse of Margaret in the back seat of the cruiser, her face a mask of indignation and disbelief. The fallout was swift and brutal. Margaret was charged with obstruction of an educational service vehicle, disorderly conduct, and creating a public nuisance misdemeanors that carried real weight. At her hearing, the judge, unmoved by her sanctimonious defense of HOA bylaws, sentenced her to 100 hours of community service at Roosevelt Elementary's special needs program, a due law $5,000 fine, and 18 months of probation. But the neighborhood's judgment was even faster. An emergency HOA meeting saw Margaret ousted as president in a 37-3 vote, her reign crumbling in a single night. The real kicker? Her live stream, a monument to her entitlement, spread like wildfire. It leaped from the HOA's Facebook page to local news and social media, where it was dissected by accounts dedicated to exposing overzealous Karens. When the verdict was read, Margaret's composure cracked, her carefully curated facade dissolving. "I was just enforcing the bylaws," she whispered as the bailiff escorted her to process her community service paperwork. But no one was listening. Pinewood Hills had moved on, and Margaret's legacy was reduced to a VY Dale and a cautionary tale about the cost of hubris.